All righty. Oh, wow. What a beautiful space you're in. It's so bright and vibrant.
Thank you. It's my studio.
Nice. So where are you stationed at right now?
I'm in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, cool. So that's where you live, you and your wife and family, correct?
Yeah. Mhm.
Cool. Yeah. Well, we are here for a very unique and interesting project that you are working on. I've been doing a little bit of background research into what you've been up to, and I think it'd be kind of great to start with the different players who are in this game in a way. To start off, will you just tell me what is Take a Chance on Charity?
It's a organization that I started to challenge other people with a platform, whether it be an athlete or a musician or an actor, whoever it is, to do a project that nobody would ever see coming to raise money for charity. So it doesn't have to be music. It could be anything. It could be painting a painting. It could be doing a magic show. It could be whatever you want, but all in the cause of raising money for charity. So if you go on, if people go on TremontiSingSinatra.com, there's instructions and there's links to show you how you can do that.
Cool, cool. And so, like you said, Mark Tremonti sings Frank Sinatra is your project. And this is going to be for NDSS, let me double check, the National
Down Syndrome Society. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about what that society is and why you've selected it to be your, where you would like to fundraise for?
Yeah, well, my daughter has Down syndrome. So when I did this project, I was a huge fan of Sinatra, and I didn't know what I'd do with it because I was practicing singing like him and felt really good about it. And once we got the diagnosis that my daughter had Down syndrome, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a record, and I'm going to try to raise funds and awareness and help folks with Down syndrome. So we partnered up with the largest organization in the country, which is NDSS, and they have done an excellent job over the years. And all the money that comes in from this record goes directly to them, and so people can write it off on their taxes as a charitable donation. And it's such an honor to work with them.
Yeah, it's a really interesting organization because I see how much of it is it's a lot of advocacy for those with Down syndrome, and I think that's a really wonderful cause. So how old is your little girl?
She's almost 14 months. I always have her right here in my studio next to me. So she's right.
Adorable. Yeah, I was looking at your website, and yeah, I saw the picture right by the story, and that smile, it just like lights up your face.
She loves for me to sing Sinatra to her, so I enjoy it.
Yeah, so you mentioned that you've always been kind of drawn to Sinatra, and I have listened to some of what has been published. I saw, was it Fly Me to the Moon, and I've got you under my skin. And what kind of struck me is like how similar you sing to him, like just like your intonation and like how you use your voice sounds so much like Frank. Can you tell me a bit more about just developing that skill?
Yeah, I would spend hours and hours a day just, first thing I would do is I'd listen to this song a million times just because I love it so much. And then I would take, my son to soccer practice. And because of COVID, I'd have to sit in the car for 3 hours sometimes. And I would sit there with my laptop and I would write down the lyrics the way he pronunciates the words, not necessarily how they're spelled. And then I would move them to however he phrases the words. Then I'd listen to where he takes his breaths and where he puts his vibratos. And you notice little habits that he has throughout when you practice singing along more and more, and just kind of becoming one with it and not letting one word go by where you don't know exactly how he's singing it, and it's hard. I constantly have to keep up to date with that. Every time I get in the car, my rule is throw on your Sinatra playlist and sing through these songs, because every day, if you spend a day away from it, you might forget, a certain placement. So I try to stay on top of it.
Yeah, definitely. So how many hours of practice do you feel like you've put in to mastering your Sinatra voice?
It has, hundreds of hours. It's, for all during COVID, for the 2 years of COVID, taking my son to soccer practice, that was 4 hours a day, 4 days a week. So a couple of years of doing that, add that up, it was a lot. But even before that, before COVID, when I was just getting into really diving in, I'd spend, some days I'd spend 5 hours just practicing, or it kind of took place of my guitar practice for the time.
Mhm.
But it's kind of funny. I kind of shifted gears when the whole COVID thing hit. Um, I didn't really have the urge to pick up the guitar as much. I was just kind of depressed like everybody else. I didn't have deadlines. I didn't have projects. So I dove into singing Sinatra tunes, and it made me feel good. So I loved it.
Sometimes that you have to do, you have to like chase what makes you happy, because, and, when people think of Mark Tremonti, they definitely think a guitar is a little, I know this is off subject, but it's like Human Clay was, I think, like the first cassette tape I had that wasn't like a Christian rock album.
Great.
So
I got it on cassette. That's awesome.
yeah. So building off of that, so tell me a little bit more about this album, because clearly there are Sinatra tunes that everyone knows and you hear them all the time. I mean, I've Got You Under My Skin for that was my first dance with my husband at our wedding. So tell me a bit more about what's all going to be in this album. Is it going to be just a lot of those classics, or are we going to hear some more hidden gems?
Yeah, there's 14 tracks on the record, and there's over 1,400 recorded Sinatra songs. So I wanted to, I obsessed with listening to everything he's recorded as much as I could, and I would find new gems every day. And I wanted to make sure this album was a good mixture between the Sinatra we all know and love and the Sinatra that most people might not remember, and his earlier years, which I think are some of his best years. And I didn't want to put out a record just of My Way, New York, New York, That's Life, and just the ones that everybody knows. So I did my best to find my favorites of the hidden gems, like Wave, I Fall in Love Too Easily, The Song Is You, All or Nothing at All. These songs that I absolutely love, and I just wanted to introduce people to.
And something I saw that was very interesting is that you actually recorded with surviving members of Sinatra's orchestra. Can you tell me a bit more about how that came to be?
Yeah, so through my obsession, I was like, I'm doing this every day. What am I doing it for other than fun? I can't really do anything, and it's sad that I can't do a project that singing big band stuff. But then when we got the diagnosis, I told my manager I want to do this, and he said my guitar teacher growing up was Dan McIntyre, Frank Sinatra's touring guitar player, who's my manager taught my manager. So he set up a lunch with Mike Smith and Dan McIntyre. Mike Smith was Frank Sinatra's band leader, and he told him about the project, and the guys were like, "Okay, great, we're in. Can your boy sing?" And he had never heard me sing Sinatra, but my manager, believing in me like he does, said, "Of course he can."
Yeah.
So they set up, and then the guys said, "Well, it's one thing to get us to do this, but you have to get approval from the Sinatra estate to use his name and likeness on anything." And they, that's tough. So that was a very tough mountain to climb, and we finally got it. And they only give that kind of stuff to Tony Bennett, Michael Bublé, and myself. I don't know who else they've done that with, but it's been such a huge honor to get to be able to do that. And I think because we brought the original band members, the fact that it's for charity, and we got to play a couple songs for them to hear, so they know that it's not going to be a joke, that it's something that is a credible project, and they enjoyed it. And they actually played it for Hank, who the producer of Frank Sinatra's biggest record, the Duets record, and he heard it and he loved it. So it was such a huge, I think that was the first person that gave this feedback that made me feel like, yeah, we can do this.
Yeah, you definitely feel like I'm on the right track. I'm on to something with this.
Yeah.
and kind of building off of that as well, like you mentioned, it's for charity, and Sinatra did work for charity as well. Do you feel like that's probably part of what led to the acceptance of letting you use his catalog this way?
Well, that was a big reason why I wanted to do this in his name, because when I was doing my deep dives into the Frank Sinatra world and watching his movies and reading the books about him and all these things, you realize it's such a shame that people don't discuss. He raised over $1 billion, helped raise over $1 billion for charity. And you put that in today's dollars, and who knows what it is. And people want to talk about all the hits and the dramas and all this stuff, but not about that, which is a shame. So I'm glad that this project will shed a little light on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So going back to the project, what day is this album going to be released? I know it's coming up this month, May, for sure.
Yeah, May 27th.
Awesome. What are your plans for the release? Do you have like a party that you're going to be doing, or?
I will be getting on an airplane flying to Europe for a European tour,
Oh,
but I, we're doing a show here in Orlando. It's going to be a listening party. We do that usually for Alter Bridge, my
mhm.
Tremonti band, where we'll put out a record and before it comes out, have people flying from around the world hear it, and then we'll do a performance of these songs that people haven't heard yet. So on the 14th, we're playing a theater called the Abbey here in Orlando, and we're going to play 8, 9, 10 songs and play the record for everybody. And it's a formal event, which is so cool. So everybody, all my friends and fans that I've seen over the years, this be the first time seeing everybody dressed up.
Right. Well,
Um,
something that was when I was just looking at TremontiSingsSinatra.com, seeing you in a suit, like you,
yeah.
that was you cleaned up very nicely.
Oh, thank you. That was part of the, I wanted to definitely pay my respects to, show that I meant, I wanted to, show the most respect that I could. Because Frank Sinatra never walked into a studio without a suit and a tie. I mean, since he was young, he dressed sharp, so I took out my earrings, haven't put them back in since,
Oh, wow. Do you
so
think that might be a permanent thing, or?
it might be. I mean, I haven't missed them. I'll probably just keep them out.
Yeah.
Maybe they've closed up by now. Who knows? It's been about a year.
Something I would love to just hear about a little bit more on a personal level, because like you mentioned, your daughter Stella has Down syndrome, but she's your first and your only daughter, right? You have
Yeah,
two boys and then a daughter. How do you like being a girl dad?
it's awesome. It's I saw a quote from The Rock saying every man wants to have a son, but every man needs a daughter, and it's so true. It's such a different kind of thing. She's got me wrapped around her finger. It's just she's the most adorable thing in the world. She definitely makes you, I don't know, it makes you more mature, makes you more responsible. She's completely changed me. I believe that.
Yeah. And I mean, in a big part, thanks to her, you have now this, like, you're showing the expanse of your talent and your abilities, and you're able to bring this very unique gift to the music world, honestly. So I guess, like, before we start wrapping up, will you just share with me a little bit, just the need to knows about this upcoming album? Just again, what the purpose is behind Tremonti Sings Sinatra, and the release date again.
Yeah, so the big points are, this record's coming out. All the proceeds are going to be going from the first penny will go straight to NDSS, which helps in many ways people with Down syndrome. It's not like my daughter had to have open heart surgery a few months ago. I couldn't imagine a family not being able to meet with doctors or pay for or figure out the insurance, or because it's such a huge thing for a family to go through. Also, the speech therapies, physical therapies, occupational therapies, independent living programs. There's so many things to we're on a different path with family members with Down syndrome. There's different challenges, so they tackle all these challenges. So that's one thing. The Take a Chance for Charity thing is the bigger umbrella thing, where it's challenging other artists or athletes or whoever to take a chance for charity, to do this, to raise money. Right now, we're doing it all for NDSS. In the future, maybe down, a year from now, or whatever, we'll start incorporating other charities that people can bring to the table. Like imagine if you got LeBron James to do this, and you find a reason that's a charity that's close to his heart, and he does interviews about telling why he wants to do this and why he wants to raise money for this particular charity, and you're rooting for the thing, and he's not going to be playing basketball, he's going to be singing a song or dancing a dance or whatever it is. I want this to be very personal for people that do this project, and so that's the big picture thing. And if you go to TremontiSingsSinatra.com, all the how-tos will be on there. I think I had asked my manager to set up a Take a Chance for Charity website, so it's either .com or .org, I believe now, where you can also find how you can take a chance for charity.
Yeah, I was checking that out. Well, before I let you go today, is there anything else you would like to share about, what you've been working on?
Well, other than this, I'm in the studio with Alter Bridge right now, and that will be coming out October 14th, the new album. I'm on tour with Tremonti, just came out with Marching in Time, our new record. I just completed a tour with Daughtry here in the States, and I'm headed over to Europe on the day this record comes out. So it's a shame that I'll be on an airplane when everybody's first hearing this record, but I'll see the response once I land.
So have you already given like your daughter a preview of the album?
Every day. I sing to her every day. It makes her smile, so I sing. I do anything to make her smile, and she loves. As soon as I always sing her the song "Is You" every day, and that's her favorite tune.
That's wonderful. That's absolutely
that and the ABCs. The ABCs make her smile too.
Well, that's just a default when you've got 14-month.
That's right.
Well, Mark, it's been really wonderful hearing from you about this really wonderful project. And it's clearly very close to your heart and means a lot. And I do really hope the best in helping support NDSS and their mission to help those with Down syndrome. So
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you so much for this time. I do apologize for confusing time zones.
Oh, no problem at all.
Used to it one day.
Yeah, no problem at all. Great talking to you.